Welcome back to Made Up of Wires, where we're decompiling Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I should put a Made Up of Wires logo somewhere on the stream. It's at the beginning. You know what you're watching. You can go to sutton.z.dev to learn more about the Symphony of the Night decompilation project. We're going to work a little bit more on the Grant Sifa Ralph boss fight. Still don't have a save checkpoint. Didn't go over changes, so I'm not going to do that this morning. Don't have a lot of time, so we're just going to get into it. I do want to talk about one thing first. Totally unexpected. Castlevania Belmont's Curse. Can you believe that Konami's making a 2D Metroidvania that actually looks really good? 82. I was shocked, pleasantly surprised. The only comment that I'd have is I kind of wish they would have given it to Team Ladybug instead of the devs that did Dead Cells. Dead Cells is a great game. Like it a lot. I'm not a big roguelike fan. The movement and everything looks really good here. The art style is, I think, what kind of turns me off a little. It looks a little bit like Lost Crown in some ways, which I did like quite a bit. In general, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty hopeful that this is going to be good. But it's nice to see another Metroidvania. Maybe we could get this decompilation done before this comes out. There's no official release date, just 2026. But let's get into what we're here for, which is decompilation. I went to last week when we ended. Yeah, 82. I agree. I dislike roguelike, and I too hope it's not a roguelike. We will see. When we ended last week, and let's see if I can get back to what was there. Oh, I can't. My undo buffer isn't big enough, or it was lost when the page refreshed. We ended with this particular function, which was matching on the PSP, the PlayStation, but not the PSP. No, it was the inverse. It was matching on the PSP, but not the PlayStation. And I wasn't sure what the cause was going to be, but it ended up being the ordering of these arguments here, and switching the order got it to work both on the PlayStation and the PSP. We do need to fix this. But that is working now too. I think that I might have pulled this in. I don't recall specifically. Well, we have the whole game in our hand. Yeah, basically. So there's a what happens when we're done decompiling? That's a good question. And is something ever really done being decompiled? So when I say done, I guess I mean one version of the game that we have complete source code for, and can build. What would be the right way to say that? We're always going to need a copy of the game for the assets, and the assets are built into the binary images for each of the overlays. So at least all the code decompiled. I think that will be possible. There may be some PlayStation SDK stuff that is a little trickier. But then beyond that, there's a lot more that goes into what something being decompiled is. Does it run on other platforms? Is it portable? Do the symbols make sense? There's a lot of other stuff. So my definition is we just have source code. That's what I'm going to go for. So let's see what was my search last time. Not that one. Let's find something to find more functions. So we were working in which file? 838. And I don't see that here now. My workspace may be broken as well. I might need to fix that. We'll see. Let's look for include ASM. And I'm gonna not much actually. See if there's anything left here. So we did actually decompile a bunch of these, but I don't think I pulled them in. I don't remember why I didn't. We were going fast. Well, maybe I did. Let me see if I have any of these. I think we'll just work down from here. Yeah, this next one is not done, so let's look at that. A medium size-ish, so that'll probably take most of the time if we get it finished. Starting with the PlayStation. So yeah, pretty long. A bunch of errors, so this is new. I haven't seen errors like this before. So the first thing we have to do is get this compiling. Let's look at the function signature. The function signatures M2C couldn't figure it out, so we'll fix that. Ports for Windows and mobile. I'm not a Windows guy at all, so I'm the wrong person to talk to about a port for Windows. Xianimo, whose project this is, has some work being done on a PlayStation compatibility library, which would make basically a bridge for source compatibility to native platforms. So I think that's pretty promising. These look like 32-bit values. I have to figure out what all these are. This one's a little more complicated than I thought it would be, but we should be able to get into that. Let's see. Animate entity. A bunch of these are probably going to be unsigned 8 arrays. And there's actually, I just saw this. Is it animation frame? I always forget what this struct is. So there is a struct called animation frame. But it's not that one. Frame property? Oh, I always forget what the right type for these is. Animate entity frame, that's what it's called. Animate entity frame. Yes. So I'll make that correct this time. And basically it's a pair of bytes. So we're going to go through and just try to figure out what, get rid of all these function signatures that we won't need. Figure out what the types of all these are. And most of them I do think are going to be animate entity frame arrays. Usually these are grouped like this. So really, you should probably just be looking for the top one that is no longer an animation frame. Because I'm pretty sure, we'll do a rough binary search. Pretty sure that these are all going to be that. Not these. It ends here. And if I screwed some of these up, I guess that's fine. This looks like one of the other functions that we did earlier. So I might reference that for some of these other variables. Not too fast. Happy President's Day if you're in the US. Hopefully you're not working, and if you are, sorry. So those are of size 4. Let's look for this function and see if we have that already. We do, and it's taking sine 16 pointer. Oh, that's the one we just did. So we'll assume that these are sine 16 arrays. There's 2 of them. So that leaves us just with these 2 fellas. And so we're getting temp v1. And it looks like we're pulling bytes out of it. This +1 is a little strange. Because that would be the same as this unknown 1. But it looks like a quad of bytes. So let's look for that. Something where hitbox offset X was being set. Now look, I seem to recall something like that. I really thought that existed. Alright, let's try hitbox width. See if that is any better. What I'm trying to find is, was there an array at some other point that behaved similarly? Not that. I doubt it's blast torch. I don't. That will have a hitbox. Okay, so I'm gonna go with an array of quads. I don't necessarily like that. This looks like the same. We can go look at those and see, we can tell based on the shape. We can make any heads or tails out of what this might be. Yeah, so they do look like bytes, at least M2C, or sorry, Spim thought that they were bytes. So, and our stride is 4, so let's go with that for now. I'm going to take all of these, throw them into the context, and then get a fresh decomp. You might not have animate entity frame. So let me go grab that definition. And I'm going to leave them here. Yeah, I think that's fine. I kind of want them in the source view, but I'll leave it like this for now. So we still have some stuff to clean up. We have one var that we couldn't find the value for. The step could be 16-bit or it could be a 32-bit. I'm gonna go with 32 bits for now, and then we'll change, pivot as necessary. When we have a negative offset, we're usually looking at the struct before. It looks like we're dealing with a lot of related entities, so I'm going to create a generic entity variable, and it'll probably be used for all of the entity pointers. And then we have to figure out what that's pointing to. So an entity is of size BC, and that was B6. Yeah, let's see what it is. I'm not going to guess. BC minus B6 is offset 6. Yeah, I thought it might be pos Y. So this looks like it's, and scroll Y is our hint. So this is going to be entity pos Y I high. Doing some cleanup here. So self plus BC. M2C doesn't look at the pointer, the size of what the pointer is pointing to. When we're doing pointer arithmetic in C, it says +1, but it's +1 of the size of that object. So you have to multiply it by the size of whatever this is pointing to, which is an entity which is of size BC. So M2C just sees plus BC, and it puts that in. Multiple default labels in one switch. We can't have that. So this whole section is actually going to be after the switch. So I'm going to move this down. We'll get rid of these default. And I think we had a fall through. Again, this is a negative offset, so we have to look at the value before. So size BC minus hex 30 is 8C. That's in the entity extension, which is not ideal, but that's what we have to deal with. So we're going to say self minus 1, and we're going to go with the illegal member of that union. We're going to do, we don't know what type it is yet. We need 16 bytes in. So I'm going to just do an unsigned 32 for now. Maybe signed 32, we'll see. The go-tos we'll get rid of in a bit. The labels there. Same thing here. I'm assuming this is a timer, so it might be a signed 16. $148 is our next. So I'm going through this problems list. It's really just the standard output. So unknown 50 for self. This is going to be pose and pose timer. So it's being read as a word as part of optimization. And I'm going to say pose equals 2 and self pose timer equals 0. I think that's going to be how it works out. And everywhere that we see that is going to be that same idea. So 163. And 243. Oh, this is unfortunate. We're gonna have to deal a little bit with this block nonsense. I think this is fine. So here we're gonna say self pose. And we'll say self pose timer equals 0, even though that's not quite right. Var v1 we can get rid of then. Okay, just a few more. $371. These are all these offsets. These are all odd and strange, so we'll fix those up as well. Oh, that makes more sense like that. All right, 79%. Not too terrible. Good job, M2C. So there's a bunch of these at the bottom. We could see if there's actually an issue here. It doesn't look like it. Something wrong with how these were placed though, and so there probably is some code somewhere that is calling the function move entity and set substep, or set step, sorry, that we need to deal with. And we'll get to that when we get to it. The first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this block 152, and all of those are going to become breaks. And we're going to go through and get rid of all these labels and go-tos. We might be able to get it to match with the go-tos in there, but nobody would write code like that. And that's part of the decompilation process. The first step is getting something that works, and then the next step is, this doesn't even make sense, getting it to look like code that somebody would actually read, or actually write. this switch down here is a debug switch that we have the code to. It'll get imported with an include later on. I'm not going to worry about it until we get further along. Okay. This set sub step 2 is an easy one, or should be. So we have to, again, like I always say this when we are replacing go-tos, we have to make sure that the control flow stays the same. So after we call the set sub step 2 function, we have to make sure that we're breaking out of the outer switch and going to the code after that. And it looks like that's the case here, so no problems. It is not the case here, so we'll have to make this an else. Actually, we can break here. I think that'll be fine. We'll have to check all those later. And that's fine. Clean up these switches. We're going to get a bunch of temporary variables for reading the step. It should actually, oops. It should just be inline. I'm going to update these as well while we're here. Comments. I'm not going to worry about fixed numbers like this. All right, so let's look at our so we would go to, for this, my guess is that this is all duplicated. So we have our go to block 112 here, and I'm pretty sure that it's just duplicated. That whole thing is a little strange, though. And this might be an and. No, not quite. I still think it's duplicated, though. So let's do that. I'm going to clean this up first. I'm going to check this on line 246. I'm going to make sure that my offset was correct. It looks like it is. This is all a mess. So it's not quite right. This may be an or, now that I think about it. If the pose is 6 and the pose timer is 0, or the pose timer is 15, and the pose timer is 0. Let's go with that. If both those things, or one of those things is true, then we're gonna do this business here. Then I think these both go away. And then this can sit there. The optimizer is a pain, but we'll get through it. I'm going to put these in the correct order. They might not end up being in the numeric order. We will learn as we get further along. So the first step is really cleaning up as much as possible, not worrying too much about the match. If it gets closer, that's great, but if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. And then as the code starts looking fine, we can start worrying about the correctness of everything. And all of this code in general uses very few local variables. So usually there, if it's just being set to a constant, it may not actually be a real variable. Where did I break it? Okay, so a few more go-tos. Let's fill in this one first. So again, we're going to set the substep, and then we have to make sure that we're breaking out of the switch. Specifically substep 4. Block 129 is the same idea. So many go-tos. I'm going to try to get rid of each of these from bottom to top because I don't want to copy the labels down to something that is jumping to block 141. What this is going to end up being is just setting the step, and usually, more likely than not, it's probably going to be incrementing the step, but we don't know beforehand, so we can't just assume that's the case. But in this case, it is just incrementing the step. And that was the only one that used it, and it could have jumped one instruction up, or one line up. So we can get rid of this 143. Now what we have left is just incrementing the steps, so we can simplify this first. And then look for block 142. And again, making sure that follows the control flow, which is exiting out of the outer switch. That was the only one for that one. Until 141 becomes setting the current frame and then incrementing the step. This definitely is a timer. This will be a sine 16, and this will turn into a not minus minus. Let's see what other go-tos we have. So this is a break after this, but to avoid writing the break, we can change this to an else if. That should have the same control flow. And this actually turns into a less than 2 is same thing. The inverse is greater than 2, right? Greater than or equal to 1, greater than 1. Not worried about this debug, so that's our last go-to there. So any other labels that we have? Do we get rid of them all? All those can go away. Uh-oh. Duplicate case value. Let me back up. Oh. So what did I say? This is going to be the same as greater than 1. Now I can get rid of my block 141. A lot of cleanup. This says it's falling through. I'm going to check this. I shouldn't say it says it's falling through. It doesn't look like it is. It seems like there should be a break here. That might have been me doing something dumb. But it is possible that this one should be a fall through after all. I took the fall through out because it seemed like it was going to the default case. It seems like that is not how it was written. So this is pretty good. Let's go down to 80. It looks like there is something with this switch that's not quite right. It could be the fall through. There may be more cases here. The fall through seems fine. So it looks like there might be a case 2 that is just a break. Or maybe something more. So it's going to 624 instead of somewhere else. So there may be something more going on there. Let's see where 624 is. Could be a go-to that was missed. It's our line 201. So same thing here. Or so it would seem, but maybe not. I'm not getting the same result. So there's something strange going on there. 624 is... Oh no, it's this. Is it? No. This jumps to 690, which is this move entity, which is possibly this. We'll figure it out with the PSP version. I'm not terribly concerned about that at the moment. We'll keep going and see. There's other cleanup that can be done, like this. These entity IDs, or entity array offsets. We'll fix those. Rename this variable. As much cleanup as we can do puts us in a better spot, and then when we finally get to the PSP, we should be have a good foundation. This bottom part I know is wrong. I'm just gonna get rid of it. I know it says bug. I'm not concerned about M2C bugs. The date is the 16th. It's not a restream. Is my date wrong on YouTube? I thought I updated it. Does it say the 12th? So what I'm going to do is just a sweep of cleanup, and as I go through and see things that I think are unlikely, I will update them. And I think in general this is probably pretty close to something that could be brought over to the PSP, but I'd rather have it nice and clean first. Seven and 5 being out of order is interesting. That could be real. May or may not be. I'm referring to the case labels here. I think, and we have no way of knowing. So when you're making an enum in C, an enum gets compiled to some fixed numeric value at compile time. And so none of those names are ever available during decompilation. So we sometimes create names for these cases if we can tell what they are. The original developers probably had names for them too. And when you have names for the cases, the numeric order doesn't make as much, or it doesn't matter as much. And so sometimes we see them out of order, but that's, like I said, most likely because they weren't dealing with the numeric values, but something higher level. This facing left toggle is something that makes a lot of sense, but we don't see it everywhere, which is kind of funny. Funny, interesting, more than funny. Aha. And so yeah, as I see things that look untowards, I'm just writing them like I would expect it to be written. And usually it is written the way you'd expect. Not always. This animated entity, for example, might be a not instead of equals 0. That could be. Usually if you're adding something to itself, it ends up being a plus equals. Oh, but yeah, that's right. Right, it's not self, it's entity. Not always, but most of the time. I don't like the way that some of this came out. I'm going to call this temp v0. We'll call it offset x. It's probably fine. Greater than equals to 0, or greater than equals is usually not used. So that's good to look for and replace. Because that can change how it gets compiled. Same with less than equals. It's not being used anywhere. Doesn't affect GCC really, but it will affect MetroWorks. I'm going to get rid of any of the switch comments. And then slowly go through each of the remaining variables here and try to get rid of as many as I can. So temp v1 is a real variable. I don't think temp v2 is necessary. Most of those fall pretty easily. So I do need G-pads for now. Looks like I missed one of the G entities references. I thought I kept that one. All right, so I know it's not perfect, but it is mostly correct. I'm going to get this pad 2 debug code in there. So this is used for some entities if you can override the step of the entity, which I think that there are certain addresses you can set to do that. You can basically step through the animation with the second controller. And that's pretty common. And it always has this corral comment in it. Okay, so not perfect. And Yeah, something's missing. Let's try to fix that. 193. Not sure what's jumping to 690 here. But it looks like there is some code missing to animate. We don't have that in there. I'm going to guess that this is a missing case 2. I don't know if this is correct, but it's my guess. You can have it. And I add an extra. So I don't know if this is exactly correct, but my guess is that this actually exists in that other switch as well that was missing some code. Where was that? It was another one where there was a missing case 2. I don't know for sure. That's just my guess. All right, so 96.8, let's go find the PSP version. So we have a lot of sound effect IDs, which is good. Those have a high likelihood of finding the same function in different versions of the game. Only one function uses that value. So it's likely that this is it. We're going to start a new scratch with the PSP. And then use the PlayStation code. We'll grab all these definitions, or declarations, sorry. Oh, come on. I guess while that's going, we can take a look at what is still wrong. On 16, it looks like how this entity is being calculated is a little different. There we go. It's so much easier to do on the PSP that don't want to spend too much time over here. Oh no, not that tab. There we go. So this should compile 84%. Let's get that. So we're missing some variables, which I think is reasonable. I'm going to add the function declaration so then we can use M2C to find some of the areas of issue. And then we'll just start going down and see what we got. There's cases possibly like this where there may be an else in here, maybe not. Let's use M2C. Ugh. This way is safe. Start over. Okay, now I'll hit the save button and hopefully this works out a little better. So as we're going through, any changes that I make, I'll eventually copy back over to the PlayStation version and just kind of keep track. On the PlayStation version, we're at almost 97% match. So one thing that we're going to run into, and I'm going to have to start creating macros for this. The PSP often uses globals for entity IDs, so we'll have to start running something for those. So we're going to say EID, and then we're going to use the numbers for now because I don't have anything better. And then we'll eventually move over to names when we figure out what these are. And they're all going to be signed 32s. It's probably going to happen quite a bit. Oh, and it looks like I screwed up the syntax as usual. It's like this E. I really thought I could. Okay, this doesn't seem right to me, but it'll work for now. 29. So it does look like this was happening twice. My guess is this is self plus 1. And no assignment to the entity. Maybe not. Oh. I screwed this up. Yeah, so the subtraction isn't happening twice. I guess that's correct. Okay. And then this is maybe the same thing. Yeah, that looks better. Not worried about registers. I'm going to skip anything having to do with registers, which is most of it. The moves I'm probably going to skip for now as well. And things related to the stack pointer, let's skip as well. Those will come out. Things like this, though, where there's additional instructions, I will address those. And I should look for all the facing lefts and make sure that they are all just being treated as booleans, because that's going to come up probably a lot. Maybe not as much as I thought. Yep, okay, those are all fine then. $104. Oh, this was different than I expected. Oh, it should be signed. We should look for any of those cases where there's where the unsigned version of that field is being used. So it will always be signed. $110. So GCC optimizes this to be inequality. Let's look at what M2C says. My guess is that it's facing left and get side to player is one, or not facing left and get side to player. Looks like maybe those are in a different order. Still not quite right. I'm going to take a break and I'll be right back, and then we'll keep going, try to get done with this function. See you in a few. Thank you. Welcome, Rafa. Good to have you. I was saying my wife and we're just writing a list of countries. If we could only go to 1 or 10 countries for the rest of our life, you could go there as much as you wanted, but only one. What would they be? And I've never been to anywhere in South America, but I chose Brazil. So I hope your country's as lovely as I think it would be to visit. So it is this monstrosity. So I spent a reasonable amount of time undoing this, only to have M2C decompile basically the same thing over here. A little confused as to why there's a different mask order. Let's try putting that on the other side of the equal sign and see if we get the ordering correct. It's possible that this is one of the variables that we're missing. Let's try that. Because we are missing some variables. Is this written to a variable? It is, but it's... Oh no, ours is. And I think that's what it is. So we're going to make a sine 32 facing left. Could use the bool type. I think that would work here. The size of bool is not defined by the C standard. It just needs to be big enough to hold both true and false. Facing the left probably isn't the best name for that. But yeah, this works. I'm going to change it to on left side. For reasons that I'm not aware of or understanding of, the decomp community has decided to adopt a lot of the Rust-looking types. Oh, interesting. For Symphony of the Night, specifically? And is there... I don't think for the PSP version there's a... Is there a Portuguese translation? Maybe there is. Maybe not. No, yeah, okay. So we do have references to Portuguese for the PSP version. All my post-timer checks look like they're backwards. There's several of them, so that isn't ideal. Let's go fix those, since that will happen again and again. This outer check for post timer here may not exist. It's worth investigating. Another create entity. I should find all of these and see which ones I'm going to need. 24, 25, 28, 24, 25, and 28. Hey, does it? Good to have you. Oh, interesting. Do you have those posted anywhere? So we chose the European PSP version because it did have multi-language support built in. And there was actually just somebody on last week who wanted to know about translating to Arabic. And I thought, so Arabic obviously is a left to right language, but if you had a font in place, the way that text layout works, I thought it should be possible. Oh, this was definitely wrong. Two. I see. In the ROM Hackers BR forum. Okay, I'll poke around, see what I can find. Any like strange mods or anything like that I think are fun to look at. And we've taken some of the like randomizer mods and decompiled those before to see what they look like. Oh, interesting. Okay. Where was I? I'm gonna pause for a second and I'm gonna see where we are on the PlayStation, make sure that all my compatibility changes with the entity IDs are working fine. And they seem like they are. So yeah, a little close to 98%, so about 1% better than it was. Let's see, we're around 239. So ignoring the moves, 252. So my guess is that there's no outer pose timer check here, and that was a GCC optimization. There wouldn't need to be. There could be a single pose timer check, and if the pose is this or that, that would make more sense to me. Over to the ore. That looks like it does match a little better. Oh, replacing the voice audio too. That's pretty cool. I wasn't even thinking about the voices, just the text. Okay, some jumps that are wrong, but not worried about those because it's based on offsets that probably don't make a difference. I'm gonna try putting a break here. That looks correct, so I'm gonna make this just a chain of else ifs. Should give us the same thing. I don't know if that's more or less correct, but I like it better. I'm not against control flow being duplicated, but I also like one way or the other. If the code flows better, that's what I want. So I don't mind returns in the middle of a function, like some people do, but it looks like there is a case 24 that just breaks. Maybe not. The RO data offset 18 there. Oh, it's offset 18. I need to think about this a little harder. So 24 divided by 4 is a 6. So offset 6? Or case 6? Is there no 24? Yeah, it should be case 6. There must be a case 6 already. Let's look at object diff. Or RO. Oh, give me a jump table. Give me a nicer jump table than that. Yeah, I was hoping it would be a nicer jump table. get back to where we were. Case 5. 3, 4, 5 is out of order. 6. No 7. We do have 8. No, we did have 7, right? Which one are we missing? 4, 5, 6, 7. Eight, 9, 10, 11. In that case, 12. Looks like they're all there. Let's look at the other RO data. 296. So these may be backwards. Four. Didn't we used to get RO data here? So we are missing a case at the end of RO data. It's only 6 entries though. Oh, but it'd be 8 entries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have more than 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 7 in the original. Okay, so something untoward is happening. I think that there's an additional case that I'm missing. I don't see an obvious candidate, though. So we'll keep going until we can figure out what it is. So it's something that's going to happen at the end and just break. And so case 12. Oh, maybe it's a return, not a break. Okay, so the number is wrong. Oh, it could be part of this. It's part of this other switch. That's what it is. Yeah. So there is a jump table that's associated with this function. The jump table, you often think of as being part of the outer switch, but the outer switch has a huge gap and then goes to case 255. And so M2C usually doesn't generate a jump table for that then. All right, so 371, this is part of this, which is a little bit of a mess, and maybe is where our other variable is coming from. So let's make a sine 32 index. And we'll set it to this. I want to see what our...
You're about 1,837 feet above sea level.
And then we'll use the index here. Okay, so that's not quite right. Let's look at what M2C thinks about all this. So it has this all in line as well, grabbing the current frame using using this as an index. It is a sine 32 index. And then using that in line. So maybe we don't have a variable. What makes me think it's a variable is that the result of this is getting... maybe it is a pointer. The result is getting written to a S variable, which usually is a variable. So we have the assignment here, which is working. We have the addition, which isn't quite right. We're actually loading yet another... no, not quite. We're loading this address as well. So let's do that. And so now we have to use our index. And this might be incremented along the way. Let's look here again. Interesting. So this has a very similar construction where they're setting a second value to the +1 almost immediately. As if there is a second variable. So let's want to undo the other work. Or, so let's check progress. So this was slight regression. A move here that I'm not going to worry about. I think that will work out. Yes, I did work. Yeah, I know. And I couldn't remember which one it was. Let's get back to that and see. So what we want is, that one was being incremented as it was being used. So we want something with a dereference and then a plus plus, I think. Yeah, I gotta grep something. What am I gonna grep? Let's look for plus pluses. Let's see what there is. It wasn't a step plus plus. Let's try this offsets plus plus. It actually is. Nope, not that one either. It actually looked, I think this was it. Where these were being assigned to the primitives. +3 would be pretty unique. So Dizic is suggesting that may have been something else in here. Plus not matching. Plus just match, so. Yeah, I vaguely recall this as well. Yeah. No, I agree. I thought that I had seen this recently as well, in the same code, and it's very likely that a lot of this is written by the same person, so it's going to work the same way. What's surprising to me, and probably a big hint that I should take advantage of, is that this is being generated effectively the same way on both the PSP and the PlayStation, where we generate an index, or sorry, we generate some pointer, and then we take a reference to the +1. Oops. Immediately after. I don't like the idea that there's two of these variables, though. Oh, I have offset X already. Yeah, this does not seem right. I mean, bad names. It should be offset pointer and hitbox pointer. What did I say? These are signed 8 pointers. Yeah, it does look like XY. I agree. Index. Oh, 718 looks like it's not assigned 32, but assigned 8. Unsigned 8, I mean, of course. So this actually is very close, but then we get the +1s, and so it does look like, okay, so let's try this. I like this much better if this is what it is. I don't know that that's what it will be, but yeah, that looks better. Now let's see if the PSP is as generous. That's actually almost done now for the PlayStation. So I'm gonna go fix this type. And what does it not like? So I think our index is, we do need a separate index. Even before that. So index is a signed 8, unsigned 8 pointer. So if this is correct, I think. And then we have a second pointer for loading this offset. So we are yeah, because it's a I guess that would work though. Yeah. So we have to cast this as a sine 32 and sine 32. Yeah, so far this is not making sense to me. The way that this was written in C made a lot more sense. Or, sorry, the PlayStation version of this. Okay, I'm going to break this up into multiple variables, even though I don't want to. And we'll try to back them out. So we have our indexes. So the first, let's make an index, another index. Variable. We have our index as array or pointer, and then our index variable. And then our quads is actually going to be set to this index. And we're going to say that this is a signed quad pointer. Really, it's the address of that array. And then, no, we're going to cast it as assigned 8 still. Cast that as assigned 8. It's going to have to be multiplied by 4 manually. And where does that leave us? So we are loading this by itself. But it's happening in such a strange place. Let's go back and look at this and make sure that I have the right type for this. Might have to leave this for the day, unfortunately, because I'm out of time. Yeah, these are just byte indexes. So I like this as an unsigned 8 array. Is it possible that this is what is multiplied by 4, though? Nope. And then our other one. Okay, so there's some funny business here. Like the equivalent math is right for this. It's the index of an index, or of an array. And that array holds things of 4 signed 8s. And so how we construct that just needs to be resolved. And we have the assembly. Just need to figure out how to use it. And that's what we'll do tomorrow. So, been watching Made Up Wires. We're decompiling Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Appreciate everybody joining. And I'll, oh, nice if that worked. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Adios.